Hello everyone, my name is Curtis Hawkins and I'm here to present my PowerPoint presentation. This is the first time I've ever used YouTube or even been on it for that much. I am new to this, but I've used webcams and I've done presentations through Adobe Connect. I've taken basically only online classes for about 4 years now, and I'm almost finished with my degree. I have about 2 more semesters left. Um, but I am doing my presentation on stress in the workplace in today's uncertain economy. It's a pretty dry topic, but it's important to a lot of people right now, especially in my office, and I'll go over that later on in the presentation. But anyway, I want to welcome everybody, and I was the group leader. That's me, Curtis Hawkins. I will begin telling you a little bit about myself as a group leader. I enjoy being a group leader. The process has been an enjoyable challenge for me on several levels. It requires that I flex creative and muscles that I don't normally use. It requires that I really pay attention to others. I also know that I have plenty of room to learn, as this is my first experience like this. I knew I would be in a need to be prepared, though this is one thing that I usually find myself overdoing. I've created my own little cue cards down here that I'm reading, and I probably should just talk to the mic, but I feel like I would lose my place here. Though this is one thing that I usually find myself overdoing, I may seem a little dry, like I said before, especially with a topic like stress in the workplace. But I think you will see that I try to loosen up a little bit as time passes. I also know that I can loosen up a little bit for stress level purposes, that I'm trying to encourage people to find ways to alleviate stress. Finally, I enjoy helping others in the group leader role. That's the reason I chose human services. I've been in sales and management my whole life, and I believe I'm over that career. I've been doing it for years, but I think I'm past it. If you would turn to slide 3. If I didn't tell you to turn to slide 2, I apologize. Stress in the workplace. In today's uncertain economy. Stress in the workplace in today's uncertain economy is something that will affect you or someone you probably know or it's close to you, no matter how much money they make or what they actually do. More than likely it's going to affect them. There are many questions we want to have answered by the people who have the power and responsibility for hiring and firing in our workplaces. From small businesses to national corporate giants, many industries are seeking ways to save money. One of these choices they investigate is downsizing. That's currently where I'm at in my job. I work for a newspaper. I work for a company named Media General. It's been in the news in the last little bit. We were one of the biggest publishing houses in United States, and we own a lot of community newspapers, and that's where I work. A lot of people think newspapers dead, and that's not the case. National newspaper, for the most part, is dead because people can get their national news instantly. They can get it from a website, or they can get it from the TV or the radio. But people still want to have community news, and that's what the community newspapers do, and they still thrive and make lots of money. So that's a very big misconception with the newspaper industry. I've been doing this since 2007, and I promise you, in my community, I live in Withfield, Virginia, which is a very small area. Population is very small. Our circulation is about 10,000 people. I make more money than somebody with a master's degree or that's very highly educated because of what I do. I'm in advertising. The downsizing issues. Newspapers are trying to find the way to downsize. When a work group finds itself under a microscope, like the advertising department, normally we're the last because we're revenue producers. The majority of the individuals in the group feel stress about fear of job loss. We are constantly asking ourselves questions to which the answers are not always forthcoming. What do they want from me? I've been doing this job for years now, and they expect me to do my job plus somebody else's with fewer resources. They've already got me working within a shoestring budget. What can I do to be secure? I will do almost anything to make my chances of surviving the next personnel cut. I want to be the person who is just too valuable to be laid off. Is that even possible? If the company itself is in danger of collapse, I can see that our corporation might not have the advantage over other competitors. But how is this going to affect me? What are my choices? Can I survive on unemployment? I have a teenager and a college student, or a toddler in diapers, a mortgage and 2 car payments. I do not feel that unemployment will give me enough to keep my head above water while I find another job. What is unemployment like? I need to know what I will be required to do and for how long. Then there are emotional reactions to potential loss of income. I'm going to be fired for sure. That's the normal one. That's what everybody is thinking because, in the situation that we're in the economy that we're in, every day can be your last day. Whether or not you were a shining star of your department, you tend to feel like you'll be the next on the chopping block. I am too old for this. When an individual has invested most of their adult working life on one corporation and the company downsizes, he starts to look around at himself and evaluate what kinds of opportunities are available for him. The older someone is, the less likely he feels ready to re-enter a competitive workforce. It feels like he is a kid again, just getting started and totally outclassed by those who are better trained and are more experienced with modern techniques. And computers have a lot to do with that, and I'll go over that in a minute in demographics, where I'll lead up to that, and explain a little bit more about my group that I was part of. If you would, please turn to slide 4 on group demographics. The group I will be working with consists of people who I work with in the advertising sales office of a local newspaper. At first glance, the demographics of our group are not very diverse at all. We are all Caucasian, adults between the age of 18 and 62. Most of the workers in our office are over 50 years of age. I'm actually the youngest I'll actually be 30 next month, but I'm the youngest in the office. I'm actually the only man in the office as well, and like I said, I'm the only one that's under 50. Computers as we know them today did not exist in the workplace when most of my coworkers entered the job market. Those people have had little on-job training for stuff like this. They can do their jobs efficiently enough, but the fear that they will not have anything to offer another employer if they lose their current position at the newspaper. They know that they are unlikely to find another business to pay them the same wages. They're normally making good wages. Most of the people here have been here for 30 years. Loss of vacation time and health care benefits is a big one here. Working in a newspaper, we work on a different schedule than anybody else you'll ever come in contact with in a workplace. It's not a normal 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. For the most part, in the office, our hours for anywhere from 8 to 7:30, but we have deadlines, 6 and 7 times a day when you're running a newspaper, and our vacation time and our health benefits is a good bonus for people to work here. Vacation time, we get 2 and 3 weeks a year right when you start out. The people that work with me, I'm actually recording from my office, and the lady that actually works right next to me, she gets 7 weeks a year. But she has been here since 1968, I believe. But that's a big concern with everybody here on that. If you'll turn to slide 5, this is my theoretical approach that I use. Consider the theoretical approaches that I see useful this exercise was the transportation theory. This is the inner structure, and that's the one that I saw the most helpful. The generalizations theory, take what you can learn from the group and apply it to other situations. That was another one that I tried to use the most so they could see that things they were learning in our group they could apply to situations in their regular life as well. For our purposes in transportation theory, the traveler is an employee whose job is at risk. The vehicle is the actions he performs to make his journey. He has to leave the comfort of his home for some reason which causes him unable to remain. He eventually can return to his home changed by the journey. In generalization theory, the person can take what he has learned in one location and apply it to another situation. In my class, I started out with a little excerpt that I did about somebody leaving and getting fired, and what they were learning from it. And that's my theoretical approaches. If you'll go to slide 6, please. Group purposes, goals, and objectives. When we increase awareness of our feelings, we learn to recognize how all the uncertainty affects us emotionally. If we know how to feel and why, there's a chance we might be able to begin to deal with the emotions that we're starting to feel. Looking for outlets refers to finding the ease of the frustration we are feeling through different ways of expressing ourselves. The possibilities are almost endless as diverse as we are. Examples are painting and playing a musical instrument. Volunteering, that's a big one in my office. They like to volunteer, churches and stuff like that. And we actually have one that for local animal shelters. She is a volunteer with golden retrievers, and it's called the Golden's Club, and she rescues golden retrievers. Realize how change affects you. When you understand this, you're better able to cope with change. You see it coming and know how to react when it happens. Find ways to lower your stress levels. Besides making the best possible efforts to help your company succeed, you can also work on your personal goals and try to add new skills to make you ready for change when it does happen. Being able to adapt is something I've learned. Enjoy life at work and at home. You can't work to live. You know, that's my philosophy on it. My boss would probably not agree with me. You probably need to live to work, but I have 3 children, and I believe that you work to live. So aim to achieve a healthy balance between the things you have to do and the things you like to do. Also, if you find ways to enjoy your work, it will pour over into your home life as well. If you like your job, more than likely you're going to be much happier. I have, over the years, I'm very good at my job. I've always been good at advertising. I can sell very well. But if you do not like your job, I've seen it happen here time and time again. If you come in and you're just upset all the time, you know, it's time to find something different. And recently I found myself doing that, and it's not all the time, but I've gotten to the point where sales has beat me down and management's beat me down, so and being a manager or having to deal with advertising and sales, money isn't always everything, and I feel that it's time for my career change, and I enjoy helping people. And my wife is a mental health specialist, and I see that she has her days, but overall she's very happy with her job, and I believe that pours over into our relationship.